What does failure mean to you? I think to fail at something is making a mistake and not learning anything from it. What are your strengths? I believe my strongest trait is my attention to detail. This trait has helped me tremendously in this field of work. How much do you currently get paid? I received $27.50 an hour at my last position. Do you own or rent your home? I'm renting right now, but I'll probably buy a house when I get married. Did you have any trouble finding this place? No problem at all. I checked for directions on the internet and found it pretty easily. Are you currently employed at the last place listed on your resume? No, I'm not currently employed. Do you earn any income from investments or hobbies? I have a savings account that I earn a little extra income from. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? In 5 years, I want to be a senior analyst. I want my expertise to directly impact the company in a positive way. Are you able to make frequent business trips? I know as an auditor that I'll have to make business trips, so I'm definitely willing to travel. Tell me a little about yourself. I'm a hard worker and I like to take on a variety of challenges. I like pets, and in my spare time I like to relax and read the newspaper. What's the most recent book you read? I just finished The Runaway Jury by John Grisham. I find all of his books very entertaining. How long do you plan on staying with this company? One of my goals is to obtain a position in this company. I know that once I start working here, it'll be for a long time. What are your weaknesses? I feel my English ability is my weakest trait. I know this is only a temporary problem. I'm definitely studying hard to communicate more effectively. What are your short-term goals? My goal is to always perform at an exceptional level, but a short-term goal I've set for myself is to implement a process that increases work efficiency. What kind of salary are you looking for? The job description says that the salary will be around $45,000 to $53,000. I think it's a fair range. What do you do when you're having difficulty solving a problem? I usually take a short break. I found that this helps me think clear, and oftentimes I end up solving the problem. Have you fired anyone? And if so, why? I've never had to fire anyone yet, but if I'm in this situation, I would follow company policy and do it professionally. What do you do when you have a problem with a coworker? If I have a problem with a coworker, I believe it's so important to talk to them. Even if I'm the one with the problem, I want to know so I can be a better teammate. How do you get along with your subordinates? My relationship with my directs is very good. They're very open and honest with me, and I'm sure they feel that they can come to me with any problems. Are you an organized person? I believe I'm very organized. I like to organize my work by priorities and deadlines. I do this so I can produce the highest quality work in the amount of time I have. Are you an organized person? I think I'm quite organized. I like my documents and papers in a way where I can retrieve them quickly. I also organize my work in a way where it's easy to see exactly what I'm doing. If you're happy with your current job, why do you want to leave? I've been in my current position for 4 years, and I want to gain experiences in other areas. I love my job, but I want to grow more as a professional. What do you know about our product? I heard this company is creating a camera lens for deep-sea photography. Because my major was in engineering and my hobby is in photography, I believe this is a perfect position for me. Tell me about your last 3 positions. I only had 1 position. In my last position, I worked as a marketing analyst for South American markets. I worked closely with partners in Chile and Argentina. What do you do when you have a problem with your job? In this situation, I ask myself why I'm having the problem. After identifying it, I work on solving the problem so I can be more efficient in my work. What have you heard about our company that you didn't like? When I search for a job, I always look for negative things. However, I didn't find anything that I didn't like. That's why I'm very excited to have this opportunity to work here.
Which category do you fall under? A person who anticipates a problem well, or a person who reacts to a problem well? I'm very observant and aware of what's going on, so I'm stronger at anticipating problems.
How long do you plan on staying with this company? To tell you the truth, I've been working and gaining experience to get into this company. This is where I want to be, and I plan on staying a long time if I'm offered the job. Will working on weekends be a problem? It shouldn't be a problem at all. I frequently worked on weekends in my other position, especially during tax season. How often is weekend work required here on average? During college, how did you spend your summer vacations? Every summer I took extra English classes. I also took some drawing classes because it's one of my hobbies. So I spent my summers learning more things. Do you see that stapler? Convince me to buy it. This stapler is the newest model with easier to use features such as quick loading and safety protection. It also comes with a money-back guarantee for any reason if you are not satisfied.
How do you make important decisions? I believe all decisions should be made by having all the information. If you're missing an important detail, it's easy to make a bad decision. So I make important decisions by having all of the information.
Why did you choose your major? I majored in psychology because I was interested in seeing how the mind works. I also found it useful because it helped me to work with people better by understanding differences in everyone. What did you hear about us? I heard that ABC Company is a leader in copy machine distribution. ABC Company is a global company in 18 different countries. And finally, it's one of the best companies to work for. If you're given work from your manager that is boring and tedious, what will you do? I don't mind doing boring and tedious work. As long as I don't have to do it for a long duration, such as 6 months, then I really wouldn't have a problem. Why haven't you received any offers so far? I've only interviewed with 2 other companies so far, and I have a second interview with one of them. It's too early to tell if I'll be receiving any offers right now, but I'm confident that I will get a couple. What's the title of the person you report to? What responsibility does he or she have? He was a sales manager. His duties included scheduling, customer support, and managing a group of 15 sales associates. What extracurricular activities were you involved in? I was involved with a group that helped awareness of environmental problems such as pollution. I was on a team that educated people about driving alternatives such as buses and carpooling. If your supervisor tells you to do something that you believe can be done in a different way, what would you do? I will tell my supervisor of an alternate way and explain the benefits. If my supervisor is not convinced, then I'll follow his instructions. Are you a risk taker, or do you like to stay away from risks?
I think it's important to take some risks. I keep the options open, and if the reward justifies the risks, I would definitely try, so I am more of a risk taker. If you could change one thing about your personality, what would it be and why? I get easily frustrated at people who don't work very hard. But I know people have different work styles and different work habits. So if I could change something, I'd like to be more understanding.
If you don't understand your assignment and you can't reach your boss, what would you do? I would investigate the assignment deeper by searching for more information, asking coworkers or other managers, and make the smartest decision on how to tackle the assignment. What do you know about our product? There isn't much information about your products yet, but I heard you are creating new technology to create a more secure database. I worked with databases most of my career, and the thought of more security really interested me. What aspects of this job interest you the most? The most interesting aspect of this job is the product you're working on. I think it's so exciting working on a product that 12 million people use. I want to be on a team where my work will make many people enjoy our product more. What aspects of this job interest you the most? I like the fact that this position requires someone who is detail-oriented. Because we are working with sensitive data, it's important that all the information is perfect. This type of challenge always interested me. Do you want to work for a small or large company, and why? I worked for a small company for a year and missed out on a lot of benefits a larger company provides, such as training, structured work environment, and a wider variety of work, so I want to work for a large company. How do you intend to learn what you need to know to perform well for this job? I have experience in learning new concepts without training. I usually look through books or manuals to find answers. Because I'm good at learning, I'll study relevant material to help me do my duties well. What did you hear about us? I read on your website that ABC Company provides accounting services to small and medium-sized corporations. I also know ABC Company is the leader in tax services in this area. That's why I'm excited to have an opportunity to join this company. What is your management philosophy? I believe in setting an example. My favorite managers in the past were the ones that worked smart and efficiently. I learned a great deal and found that leading by example is a strong way to influence directs to work diligently. How will your performance in your worst class affect your performance on this job? I had one class where I really struggled. I asked more questions and studied more. As a result, I did very well. So even if I'm struggling, I feel I can find ways to do a good job by putting in more effort. What do you do when you feel burnt out? I think it's important to anticipate being burned out before it happens. But if a deadline requires me to work so much that I end up being burned out, I try to relax myself and get re-energized by not thinking about work at home and watching a good movie. If you're happy with your current job, why do you want to leave? I love to learn new things, and after several years in my current position, I realized I was doing the same thing over and over again most of the time. So the only reason I want to leave my current job is to broaden my knowledge by gaining other experiences. Have you managed people in any of the positions you've held? I have 3 years of experience managing people. I managed a team from 3 people to a group of 10. Most of my duties as a manager was to make sure our projects were on track and that each employee was completing their work. How do you explain the fact that you frequently change jobs? I see that you haven't stayed with a company for more than 2 years. I've been gaining experience and knowledge to have the minimum requirements to work for this company. My goal is to work for this company, and I'll be working here a long time because this is where I want to be. What were the most memorable accomplishments in your last position? The most memorable accomplishment I had as a sales associate for a software company was closing a deal worth $17 million. This was the second largest order our company ever had, and it felt like hitting a grand slam. During your performance reviews, what criticism do you hear the most? During my review, my manager told me to voice my opinions more frequently. He always liked my suggestions when I told him, but in group meetings, I usually let my manager speak. Now I feel more confident that I can suggest my ideas in groups. How long do you plan on staying with this company? As far as I can tell, this company has everything I'm looking for. I enjoy this type of work, and the benefits of this company are great. I'm looking for a long-term position, and if there are opportunities for advancement and growth here, then I want to stay for a long time. What do you do when you feel burnt out? I try and prevent burning out by maintaining a healthy, balanced life. I try to engage in personal hobbies outside of work, such as playing the guitar or going for a hike. They keep me energized to work hard in the office. But if I do feel burned out, I like to rent a movie and relax for the night. In what ways are you organized and disorganized? Since I work with many files, I like to keep my desk organized. I always have everything in a certain place so I can find things easier. The area I'm disorganized is probably my computer desktop. I usually have so many icons everywhere. I should organize it a little, but I've never needed to. What do you do when a worker is giving the team more problems than helping? It's hard to deal with a worker that puts in great effort but slows down the team. I noticed it is best to tackle a problem early. One way I found that was helpful was to be more firm. This way, the project continues to move forward without so many interruptions due to small arguments.
Tell me about a time you fired someone. I've never had to fire somebody yet. I believe that a manager should mentor and lead all team members to be a solid performer. But I know that there are some people who can't or won't perform despite management's best effort. So in that case, I would have to let someone go in a professional manner following the procedures set by the company.
What did you hear about us? I heard a lot of good things about ABC Company. I know this company provides financial services to small and medium-sized corporations. Specifically, ABC Company focuses on creating automation for routine financial transactions. Besides what the company provides, I heard that the office environment is great and the employees are well taken care of.
Tell me a little about yourself. I went to the University of Washington and majored in English literature. I went to graduate school because I really enjoyed learning. Afterwards, I started my career at Boeing as a web content editor. I've been there for 3 years now. Although my emphasis is in writing, I like numbers. I think solving logic problems and riddles are quite fun. I also enjoy jogging, reading, and watching movies.
Tell me about a time you had a big disagreement with your boss. What did you do, and what was the outcome? I had a disagreement with my boss on how to do an assignment. It was easy to resolve by having a discussion on the pros and cons of both methods. We didn't come to any conclusion which way was better, and I ended up performing the work the way my manager wanted. This was because, in case I couldn't finish the assignment, he could easily pick up where I left off. How do you handle conflict? Whenever I have a conflict I have to deal with, I like to follow a simple process. I first identify the problem causing the conflict, think about solutions or ideas that will solve the problem, and then try and implement a solution. Although it's very simple, it makes sure that I'm not panicking, losing my temper, or losing control of the situation, and it prevents me from rushing into a decision that might make the problem worse. Have you fired anyone? And if so, why? When I was managing a group of 4 people in my last position, I unfortunately had to fire one of them. The person was unable to perform at an acceptable level for a long period of time. Our company has a process in place of trying to grow our employees, empower them, and help them find their strengths, but nothing helped. I put the person on probation and explained that he will have to try harder. But after seeing bad performance due to a lack of effort for a long time, I had to fire him. What do you do when you're having difficulty solving a problem? There are a couple things I do when I'm having a problem. Sometimes I try to focus so hard that I miss a point that would help me solve the problem. So I take a 2-minute break to help me approach the problem in a different way. I could either go get a drink of water or stand up and move around. I find that this helps me at times. But if I still continue to have problems, I don't mind asking a coworker for some assistance. I believe in using all the resources around me, and I think coworkers should use me as a resource as well. Tell me about a time you found a solution to save the company money. We were outsourcing a portion of our work to a third-party company. We had 2 phases for this project. After the first phase, I was given the task to complete the work because the original worker responsible for this project left our group. I quickly got up to speed on the details of the work. I analyzed the information and realized that one portion of the work given to them could have been done by our group because we already had the infrastructure in place. So I only spent half a day to set this up, and in turn, we were charged 35% less for the second phase from the first one. Tell me about a time you aimed too low. When I was selling cell phones for Verizon Wireless, I had a great month where I reached the quota in just 2 weeks. My goal is to always break quota by more than 10%, and this month, I knew it was going to be easy. I scheduled to take a week off to relax, and at the end of the month, I surpassed the quota by 31%. I had an opportunity to break the location's record, but I didn't jump on the opportunity. I was basically thinking that having achieved my original goal of 10% was sufficient. But I think when opportunities arise, I should be flexible and willing to change my goal. I aimed too low and I missed a rare opportunity. Tell me about a time you had a big disagreement with your boss. What did you do and what was the outcome? I don't think I've had a large disagreement with my boss before, but I do remember a small disagreement. I received an email from my boss telling me that he wants me to stop the work I was doing on my project and give it to a coworker. He wanted me to start on a new project immediately. I spent 2.5 weeks on this project, and I only had 3 days left. I really wanted to finish this, and it didn't make sense for me to hand this project off to someone else. So I put some thought into it, went over to my boss's office, and asked him why this project couldn't wait 3 days. He made his argument, and I still didn't agree. We discussed this for a while, and we compromised by having someone help me finish the project I was working on so I could have some time to kickstart the next project. That's the only experience I had with a disagreement, but I learned that it only takes simple dialogue and a little compromise to overcome a disagreement. Tell me about a time you made a great sale. Making a great sale can be measured by how much the company made, but I think making a great sale is how satisfied the customer is. A satisfied customer will return and continue to be a valued customer, so it's important to make sure that the customer is satisfied. One day, a customer was debating on 2 different types of watches. One was $1,200 and the other was $400. This was a huge difference. I believe I could have sold him the $1,200 watch, but instead, I laid out all the pros and cons for him and asked him questions to find out the purpose of the watch, if it was for casual wear or formal wear, and eventually helped him realize exactly what he was looking for. He ended up buying the $400 watch. Some people might think that this was not a great sale, but I felt as a salesman and a person representing the company that I did a great job in satisfying this customer. In the next couple of years while I was working there, he came and bought many more items and had other friends come in to buy more products. I can confidently say that the $800 in missed sale resulted in thousands more for the company.